Hello everybody and welcome back to Earth Elects. In the Australian state of New South Wales on the 12th of February, 4 by-elections have been held for the Legislative Assembly, the lower house of the state's legislature, for the seats of Bega, Monaro, Strathfield and Willoughby. The time in Queanbeyan, the largest city in Monaro, is 4:04 on the 6th of March, and after a long delay, the final results are in. The people's will has been made clear. In the seat of Bega, the by-election was triggered by the resignation of Andrew Constance of the centre-right Liberal Party of Australia New South Wales division. Constance was first elected in 2003 and has had some ministerial roles. In 2011, he was appointed Minister for Ageing and for Disability Services. In 2013, he was promoted to Minister of Finance and Services, and in 2014, he was promoted to the main financial job of Treasurer, and was also given the Industrial Relations portfolio. In 2015, he was moved to the Ministry of Transport and Infrastructure. In 2019, this post became Minister of Transport and Roads, and he was also made Leader of the House. However, in 2020, he announced plans to quit state politics to enter federal politics, but he changed his mind. As punishment for this, he was sacked from both posts. With a federal election on its way, he has made that decision again, but this time stuck to it, resigning to run in the federal election. To replace him, the Liberals nominated business owner and farmer Fiona Kotvojs. The Liberals got 48.9% of the first preference vote in the last election in 2019, and the two-party preferred vote was with the centre-left Australian Labor Party New South Wales branch. In that election, Labor got 30.6% of the vote, and the TPP vote was 56.9 to 43.1 in favour of Constance. This time, Labour have nominated obstetrician and gynaecologist Michael Holland. Third in 2019 was the Greens New South Wales with 9.8%, and they nominated cafe owner Peter Hagar. The right-wing Shooters, Fishers and Farmers Party, who came fourth in 2019 with 6.4% of the vote, nominated small businessman Victor Hazir. There were three other candidates: independent stay-at-home mother Ursula Bennett, a Conservative Christian, Karen Geiselhart from the Anti-Overpopulation Sustainable Australia, and independent customer service worker Geoffrey Hawkins, who focused on supporting local businesses. In the seat of Monaro, the by-election was triggered by the resignation of John Barilaro of the Conservative National Party of Australia, NSW. Barilaro was first elected in 2011, and he too had a number of ministerial posts. In 2014, he was made Minister for Regional Tourism and Minister for Small Business, while in 2015 he switched his tourism post to become Minister of Skills and Minister of Regional Development, which was later renamed Minister for Regional New South Wales. In 2016, he was elected National Leader, becoming Deputy Premier as well, but retaining his other posts. In 2019, he lost all of these posts apart from Deputy Premier and Nationals Leader, gaining the new post of Minister for Regional New South Wales, Industry and Trade. In 2021, he resigned as Deputy Premier, Nationals Leader and MP, noting that the time was right after 5 years to do so, but this was also amidst a controversy regarding a defamation lawsuit. In 2019, Barilaro won 52.3%, and the Nationals candidate to replace him was Nichole Overall, a journalist and author. The TPP vote in 2019 was 61.6% to 38.4%, with Labour coming second, winning 27.2% of the first preference vote. Their candidate this time was councillor Bryce Wilson. The Greens, who won 7.9%, came third in 2019, and former councillor Catherine Moore was their candidate this time. Independent Andrew Thaler, a trucker, won 2.5% in 2019, coming fifth and run again. Finally, the animalist Animal Justice Party came sixth with 2.3%, and they ran candidates Frankie Seymour, an animal rights activist. Sustainable Australia, who did not run in 2019, did put up a candidate this time, that being former diplomat James Holgate. In the district of Strathfield, the by-election was held due to the resignation of Labour's Jodi McKay. McKay was first elected for the seat of Newcastle in 2007, and in 2008 was made Minister for the Hunter and Minister for Tourism, later adding the portfolios of Minister for Science and Medical Research and Minister for Women. This ended in 2011 when she lost her seat at the election. In 2015, McKay was elected as member for Strathfield, and in 2019 she was elected as Labour leader, also making her leader of the opposition. However, in 2021 she resigned as leader, and later she resigned from the Assembly as well, resigning as leader due to poor results in another by-election. Labour candidate to replace her was Jason Yat-Sen Li, a businessman and investor. Labour won 44.3% of the first preference vote, and the Liberals won 38.9%, with Labour winning the TPP vote 55.0 to 45.0. This time, the Liberal candidate was business executive Bridget Sakr. The Greens won 8.8% in 2019, and photographer Chrisetta McLeod was their candidate this time. The Animal Justice Party, that won 2.2% and came sixth in 2019, nominated Rohan Monaro, who has a background in finance. Elizabeth Farrelly, a writer who is running a campaign against overdevelopment, is going as an independent, while Sustainable Australia nominated Ellie Robertson, an activist. Overdevelopment was a significant issue in the area due to a large number of high-rise towers, as was COVID-19. Li is a Chinese Australian, the son of immigrants for Hong Kong, and he lived in China for 8 years. He has endorsed accepting investment from China, including the Belt and Road Initiative, which has led to criticism, although Li has hit back, criticising narratives about minority communities and their members having dual loyalty. Finally, the by-election in Willoughby was held due to the resignation of incumbent Minister Gladys Berejiklian, a Liberal. She was first elected in 2003 and in 2011 was appointed Minister for Transport. In 2014, she was elected the party's deputy leader and added the portfolio of Minister for the Hunter. In 2015, she lost the transport and hunting portfolios to become Treasurer, as well as Minister for Industrial Relations. She served in these positions until in 2017 she was elected leader of the party, making her Premier of New South Wales. However, amidst a corruption probe, she resigned as party leader and Premier in 2021, and soon after resigned from the House, ending her political career. She won 57.0% of the vote in 2019 and beat Labour on a 71.0 to 29.0% TPP split. This time, the Liberals' candidate is Tim James, a think tank executive. Labour are not running a candidate this time, but the Greens, who got 11.2% in 2019, are, with councillor Lynn Saville running in this poll. Independent Larissa Penn, a biotechnologist, got 9.9% of the vote in 2019 and is running again, with a campaign focusing on overdevelopment. Sustainable Australia, who won 1.6% of the vote in 2019, are putting up their president, Councillor William Burke, for this by-election. The Liberal Democratic Party, a Libertarian Party who did not run in 2019, are putting up former councillor Samuel Gunning, while the Progressive Reason Party's candidate was lawyer Penny Hackett. So, for the results in the 4 by-elections, in Bega, Holland won the election with 21,361 votes, or 43.2% of the first preference votes, an increase of 12.6%, and 24,837 TPP votes, or 55.1% of the TPP votes, an increase of 12.0%. This was the first time Bega had ever been won by Labour since the seat's creation in 1988. Kotvojs won 19,165 first preference votes, or 38.7%, a decrease of 10.2%, while she won 20,269 TPP votes, or 44.9%, a decrease of 12.0%. Hagar won 3,453 first preference votes, or 7.0%, which is down by 2.8%, while Hazir won 2,312, which is 4.7%, down by 1.8%. Hawkins won 1,379 votes, or 2.8%, Glycel-Hart won 1,011, or 2.0%, and Bennett won 811 votes, or 1.6%. Turnout was 85.7%, down by 4.1%. Therefore, Michael Holland of the Australian Labor Party New South Wales branch won the election and is the new member of the New South Wales Parliament for Bega. Monaro overall won the election with 21,728 votes, or 45.6% of the first preference votes, a decrease of 6.4%. She won 23,474 TPP votes, or 55.2%, a decrease of 6.4%. Wilson won 15,102 first preference votes, or 31.2%, an increase of 4.8%. She won 19,055 TPP votes, that making up 44.8%, or an increase of 6.4%. Moore was in third, with 4,178 first preference votes, and this made up 8.8% of the total, up by 0.9% from 2019. Thaler won 2,986 votes, or 6.3%, an increase of 3.8% from 2019. Holgate won 1,920 votes, or 4.1% of the total, while Seymour won 1,361 votes, or 2.9%, an increase of 0.5%. Turnout was 83.4%, or 8.4% down on 2019. Therefore, Nichole Overall of the National Party of Australia, NSW, won the election and is the new member of the New South Wales Parliament for Monaro. In Strathfield, Lee won the 18,034 first preference votes, or 41.1% of the total, a decrease of 3.2%. He won the election with 21,670 TPP votes, or 55.8%, an increase in 0.8%. Sakr won 15,921 first preference votes, or 36.2%, a decrease of 2.6%, and 17,160 TPP votes, or 44.2%, a decrease in 0.8%. Farrelly came third with 4,328 votes, or 9.9%, while Buckley came fourth with 2,930 votes, or 6.7%, a decrease of 2.1%. Robertson won 1,795 votes, or 4.1%, while Monaro won 920, or 2.1%, which is down by 0.1%. Turnout was 80.8%, a decrease of 8.2%. Therefore, Jason Yat-Sen Li of the Australian Labor Party, New South Wales branch, won the election and is the new member of the New South Wales Parliament for Strathfield. In Willoughby, James won 18,949 votes, or 43.5%, a decrease of 13.5%. He won 19,886 two-candidate preferred votes, or 53.3%, a decrease of 20.5% to win the election. Penn won 12,920 votes, or 29.7%, an increase of 19.8%, and 17,421 TCP votes, or 46.7%, an increase of 20.5%. Saville came third with 5,892 first preference votes, or 13.5%, an increase of 2.4%, while Hackett came fourth with 2,576 votes, or 5.9%. Burke came fifth with 2,122 votes, or 4.9%, an increase of 3.2%, while Gunning won 1,104 votes, or 2.5%. Turnout was 80.5%, a decrease of 9.0%. Therefore, Tim James of the Liberal Party of Australia, New South Wales Division, won the election and is the new member of the New South Wales Parliament for Willoughby. So, that ends this video. 4 by-elections, and obviously considered a pretty bad day for the government. But anyway, thank you for watching. We have more by-election content on its way, with by-elections from Nigeria and also the United Kingdom coming up, if you're interested in that. Plenty more videos in the busy month of March, including what promises to be a bumper episode on the South Korean election. But you've heard enough from me, so I can only bid you farewell, and thank you for watching.